YouTube? Guys, I did not know that today was the Nintendo Switch's anniversary. I was seeing all these videos on YouTube and I'm like, why is everybody doing all these Switch videos? What's going on? And then somebody mentioned something. Then I was looking at the date and I was like, wow, today's March 3rd, 2023. The Nintendo Switch was originally released March 3rd, 2017. So today, March 3rd, Friday, 2023 is the Nintendo Switch's anniversary, y'all. How many of y'all remember the initial Nintendo Switch launch? Oh man, that was like a wonderful time, man. And that was 6 years ago that the Nintendo Switch was released, and it seemed like it was just yesterday. I mean, time really flies. I was a young man. I was in my, I was in my 30s, but I didn't have all these gray hair and all that stuff going on, man. But man, the Switch, man, it's a wonderful console, wonderful concept, wonderful hybrid. I love it. The Nintendo Switch is the best console to ever grace the gaming industry and the gaming world for the past 6 years, and I've enjoyed every single year, every single day, every single week, every single month with the Nintendo Switch. Brilliant system. A lot of people hated on it. Excuse me. A lot of people doubted Nintendo, especially after the Wii U rather. But you can never count a company out that originally revitalized gaming in the 90s, continued to set trends. Yes, they took some losses by experimenting, but that's how you get better, and that's how you carve out your own niche in this world, especially in the gaming industry. And I briefly want to touch on my experience with the Nintendo Switch, being that today is the anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. I remember, watching E3, the Nintendo presentation, when they showed, the first initial trailer of the Nintendo Switch and what it's going to be, aka the Nintendo NX. Everybody know now as the Nintendo Switch. Etika was alive, rest in peace, Etika. Etika was wilding out. I was watching his stream. I was watching my boy Player Essence stream. I'm a big Player Essence fan and Obi-Wan fan. Shout out to you guys. You guys inspired me to do my own channel. But yeah, so quick story, fun fact. The day before the initial Nintendo Switch release on March 3rd, so we're gonna say March 2nd, I remember I was prepared to get a Nintendo Switch, and I believe at the time, I think I only had enough money to get the Switch, and I believe Zelda. Probably had more money, I don't know. I think I did. The kid always got money. But anyway, so my idea was I was already excited, so I was up all night. It was hard to go to sleep, but my plan was March 3rd, early in the morning, crack of dawn, around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I was gonna head down to my local Walmart and was gonna post up and get a Nintendo Switch. And this is before the whole craze of, people camping out and stuff like that. But then again, when I think about it, people always been camping out for consoles, especially for the Wii. I didn't do all that, but I will honestly admit that the Nintendo Switch was the first console where I actually camped out or waited several hours to be one of the first few people to get the console. Excuse me, guys. Allergy cold. So I had my plans. Wake up on launch day early in the morning to go get a Nintendo Switch at my local Walmart. And I remember March 2nd, a day before the Nintendo Switch launch. It was a rainy day. I was coming from work. It was a rainy day. It was pouring that day, and I had a long stretch to walk to my house. And I'm walking. I looked down, and I saw a big puddle of water. And in the puddle of water was stacks of 20s. I'm talking about stacks of 20s just fanned out. Just right there in the puddle of water. I'm like, whoa. I'm looking around like, is this a trap? Is somebody trying to trick me? Somebody behind the bushes or behind a car watching to see if I'm going to jump out there and take the money? But that was a lot of money that was laying in that puddle of water. So if it was a trap, I was like, well, I guess they're going to have to catch me. It's a good trap. So I took the chance, took the plunge. I looked around. Didn't see anybody, but I did see somebody sitting in a car across the street, but it wasn't paying any attention to me. So I quickly just scooped the money up, drenched in everything, wet, and just stuck all the 20s in my pocket, not knowing how much money it is. Excited, called my girlfriend, said, yo, listen, I found a whole bunch of money just sitting in a puddle of water. And she was like, man, somebody, I know they mad. It seemed like somebody must have just got paid and they must have lost all their money. Probably did, because those 20s were crisp. But anyway, so I got into the house, took the jacket off, my wet jacket off, took all the money out and counted the money. And I believe it was $350, $400. And I was like, wow, that's $350, $400 extra on top of the money I was going to spend to get a Nintendo Switch. I was like, wow, today's my birthday. Today's a lucky day. It was meant for me to get that Switch. And I was so excited, man, you know, watching the presentation of the launch of the reveal of the Nintendo Switch. Most importantly, see Zelda. Zelda's at one of my favorite games of all time. But then again, who doesn't like Zelda? So I was just so excited to play the Zelda game, man. Like, I was just so excited. And I actually got the Nintendo Switch just for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, knowing that, you know, after I'm done with Breath of the Wild, they're gonna have more games down the pipeline. You know how Nintendo do. So, man, I'm excited. Launch day comes March 3rd. Went down to Walmart. Surprisingly, I didn't see anybody. I'm like, wow, I must be the first person. So I'm waiting, so there was no line, so I was just waiting. But I did look over into the parking lot. I seen like 1 or 2 cars with the lights on, the high beams on. I'm like, oh, they've been sitting there for a while. So I know that somebody in that car probably waiting for the Switch. I guess somebody did beat me there, but it's okay. I only seen like 1 or 2 cars, and I was the only person out there. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm a third person. So I got there around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and I waited till Walmart opened up, which was around, I think they opened up around 6 or 7. Then I started seeing people coming, forming a line. And mind you, prior to the Switch launch, I called around and the Switch was sold out. There's 2 Walmarts that's on the strip where I live. The regular Walmart and the Super Walmart, the 24-hour Walmart. I call it 24-hour Walmart. That line was actually really not all the way outside, wrapped around the Walmart building. And the guy said, you're welcome to join the line. The kid is not joining any line. So I was like, X that out. That's out of the question. And like I said, fast forward to the other Walmart. There was nobody there. Line started forming, boom. It opened up, everybody rushed in. I made my way to the electronics section, and they had everything set up, which was cool. So I guess they were anticipating the Nintendo Switch launch, and the foot traffic. So I had a couple people in front of me. They got their switches. This one guy could decide what switch he wanted. If he wanted the neon Joy-Cons or the standard Joy-Cons, which those are the ones I should have got anyway, but it doesn't matter. I just wanted the system. So when it was my turn in line, they asked me, "Sir, which switch do you want? The neon or the standard gray?" I said, "It doesn't matter." She ended up giving me the standard gray Joy-Con switch. And she said, "Anything else?" So I was like, "Yes." Oh, matter of fact, guys, remember, I already had my money for the Nintendo Switch and Zelda, right? And remember, I did find all that money sitting in a puddle of water, so I had extra money to burn. So I said, "Yes, I want Zelda." And then she was like, "The regular or the collector's edition?" I was like, "Whoa, they have a collector's edition?" I was like, "How much is that?" She's like, $100. I was like, let me get that. So I got an ASAP, and she pulled it out. It was the big box. The big box. I was like, wow, that's a big box. I was so excited. So on launch day, I got the Nintendo Switch, gray Joy-Con model, Zelda Collector's Edition. I picked up the Pro Controller, and then when I got home like a happy camper, I went into the eShop and see what was going on in the eShop, which didn't have a lot of games at the time. I remember they had Fast RMX, which I did get ASAP. I'm a big fan of Fast RMX. And they had the King of Fighters. I forgot which one it was. I'm a huge King of Fighters fan. You know I'm old school. And I got King of Fighters. And lastly, I got I Am Setsuna. Brilliant game, by the way. Love that game. Haven't beaten it yet. I stopped playing it years ago, man. Not because it got boring, but because, man, so many games was coming out and I have all the systems. So I was rotating, jumping back and forth from system to system, games to games. I don't like to stay on one game too long. So yeah, man, I mean, the Switch launch was amazing for me, man. So, and but I just remember that money, all that money I found, man, that was like a blessing, really, blessing. So I spent what, $350 for the Switch, $100 for the Zelda. That's what, that's $450 already. Then the Pro Controller, which I forgot, it was like $80. And then I went home and bought several more games, but I already told you those games that I bought. So yeah, I had a handful of games, man. Fast RMX, Zelda, King of Fighters, and I Am Setsuna. 4 games. And went to work the next day, showed the Switch off. Everybody was blown away. Everybody was so impressed. And the Switch has been my companion since. I go everywhere in my Switch, man. Every single where, man, with my Switch. I have around like 5 Switches now. And you know, my old OLED model, which you can check out on my channel, my launch OLED model, I ended up leaving that on the bus one day with a nice Zelda case, 1 terabyte memory card, and around 5 games in there, and my Bluetooth adapter. That was very painful, but luckily I was able to buy another Switch the next day, which they were hard to find at the time, the OLED models. So, any of you guys have like story about, you know, the Nintendo Switch launch day? Let me know in the comment section, man. Like, what was your experience picking up a Nintendo Switch on your launch day? I mean, mine was amazing. Mine was brilliant. Now, moving on to other news, the Switch 2. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard about all the leaks that's been going on with the Nintendo Switch 2. There was this guy posing as somebody that worked with a Pokemon company and was leaking all the information. Turns out that he was actually working in the hardware line, the hardware sector for the Nintendo Switch. So he was just spilling all types of information, and Nintendo sent a cease and desist. So Nintendo got a hold of the Nintendo, and then just got a hold of him. That was crazy, man. I guess he got so excited he just couldn't help but to hold the information. And it's crazy how Nintendo does things, man, because like, you know, with Sony, Microsoft, when they got a new system coming out, they just let it spill. You know their specs, like GPU, they're using CPU, whatever. They let it all out. They just let it hang. They just let it hang. You know what I'm saying? They just show them ass cheeks, man. They just let them hang. They just lift that skirt up and show the goodies. But Nintendo, they keep their cards close to their chest. It's kind of crazy how they do that, man. They're such a secretive company. I get it. They don't want people to steal their, get a drop on their information, get a drop on their system, and hey, you know, people will know how to, the competition will know how to combat that and know what they're working with. I get it, man, but I mean, when Nintendo come out with a system, man, it's always a big thing. The whole industry stops and listen. The whole gaming industry stops and listen. They turn the industry and the whole world and the internet world on top of its head. And I mean, I'm just as excited as everybody else, man. I mean, there's a lot of people complaining, and people are always gonna complain. You can never give people enough. Oh, the Switch needs more power. 60 frames per second, man. They 30 FPS drop frames, a little bit more juice as far as graphic wise. I get it, man. I get it. When Nintendo were making powerful consoles and it was still losing to Sony, people complain. Now that the Switch came with something new, people still complain. It's like people would never be satisfied. But Nintendo decided to skip the Switch Pro and go all next gen. So basically, this time around, I think the Switch 2 is going to be very powerful. But it's only so powerful they can make it. But the reason why I say it's going to be powerful is only because it's a next-gen platform. I mean, come on. They're coming from a 6-year run with the Nintendo Switch. So you think they're honestly going to jump to next-gen and the Switch 2 will be weaker or just a teeny bit more powerful than a current Switch? If that was the case, they might as well just come out with a Switch Pro. I mean, you got to use common sense. I know people are using Nintendo, cheaping out and using weaker hardware, but with a Switch 2, it's going to be a substantial jump. Trust me on that. In handheld mode, I'm pretty sure it's going to look close to the PS5, like close enough, not identical, but good enough. It's going to look good enough. It's going to be high resolution. We're getting 60 FPS. And I hope they can push it past 60 FPS and give us a 120 FPS under certain some circumstances, and under some circumstances, and for some games, like especially competitive games. I think the competitive games like COD, Call of Duty, and whatnot should be 120 FPS. I'm pretty sure they can do that. But the baseline, we're definitely gonna get 60 FPS for sure. Nintendo's listening. They know what's going on. And it doesn't have to be all that powerful because it's only a handheld. There's only so much you can do with a handheld to make it powerful. Hell, the Steam Deck ain't even really all that powerful, to be honest with you. It looked like some crap on the TV. I think the Switch does a better job in dock mode than the Steam Deck, to be honest with you. But I can honestly see Nintendo doing like, I can see them doing Xbox Series S type level. Probably a little bit better, but I'll just go ahead and stop with the Series S. So imagine the Series S powerful. Hold on, let me backtrack. Imagine the Series S power in a handheld, but just with newer tech. Because remember, you know, the Series S and Series X came out, 2021? I think the new console's been out for like 3 years now. Excuse me, guys. This allergy cold is just kicking my butt. The weather changing. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys on that, man. And let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the Switch 2 leaks. And oh, another thing too, they're saying that the Switch 2 is supposed to come out this year. That's a rumor. Sometime in November. But I remember Nintendo initially saying 2024. So maybe they may announce the Switch 2 this year, the end of this year, and release it next year, just like they did with the OG Switch. But we'll see. As far as the games, we don't know. And people, I know a lot of people are saying if Nintendo's coming out with the Switch 2 this year, why didn't they mention it when they announced Tears of the Kingdom in the last Direct? I don't know. Like I said, it's up in the air. We really don't know if they're going to release it this year or not. It's just rumors, but I'm willing to bet they may have two versions of Tears of the Kingdom. The base for the base Switch and an upgraded version, 60 FPS version, better graphics with a newer Switch. If anybody paid attention to the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, the first trailer they came out with, I noticed, man, the first thing I noticed was the graphics. It looked a lot better than the OG Breath of the Wild. Even gameplay, you saw Link running around and whatnot. It did not look like it was running on current Switch hardware. It looked way better. But then when they showed the most recent Tears of the Kingdom trailer and this most recent past Direct, the graphics are downgraded to me. It looked like it was just running on a regular Switch. So I think they slipped up and they showed the Switch 2 version. But we'll see. Or they might just have a patch for Tears of the Kingdom for the new Nintendo Switch. And we might see Metroid Prime 4. I want to say this year they're going to launch a new Switch, but something tells me next year, man. We're going to get all those new games for next year. But yeah, man, that's it, guys. I'm not going to go on any further. I just realized at the last minute that today was the Nintendo Switch's anniversary. It was released on March 3rd, 2017, and today is Friday, March 3rd, 2023. Switch is a phenomenal system. I don't care what the haters say. There's always a hater. But the Switch sold 122 million. I'm pretty sure by the end of this video, it's probably 125 or better. Everybody wants to see if it's going to sell more than the PS2, which is the best-selling console, and the DS is the number 2 best-selling console. I believe the PS2 sold 155 million, and the Nintendo DS is 154 million. So 30 more million Switches. Can Nintendo do it by the end of this year? Don't know. But if they keep the Switch alive and run it concurrently alongside the Switch 2, it probably can. Probably will pass the PS2 eventually. I think it will. Especially if they support it, but they need to do a price drop. The Switch kept its initial price, its launch price, for 6 years, man. So they need to drop the price on the Switch now. I think the Switch OLED should be like $300. The V2 model should be like, I don't know, $250. Switch Lite $150. Just drop the price on it now. That Nintendo already made their money off the Switches already, but a price drop definitely will make the Switch look more attractive to customers coming in the store, walking in, and push it to that 155 million past the PS2 mark. But if it don't, it's cool. Nintendo already made their money. Nintendo's back. This is the best Nintendo have ever done in years with the Switch, and they have a great hybrid idea. Even Valve copied, and Neo, everybody's copying Nintendo. So obviously Nintendo did something right with the Switch. And yeah, they should. I guess it's a no-brainer for them to make a Switch 2 to capitalize off of what they already have and just improve the online for every single game. Give us native voice chat for every single game. Even if you're not gaming, you just want to go into your friend list and talk to your friends and send messages. I think they should have like an online basically set up just like how Xbox has their online setup. And speaking of Xbox, Microsoft has been working with Nintendo closely quite for some time now. So, and it's on a 10-year deal with Nintendo to put Call of Duty and the rest of their first-party games on the Switch. So that already let you know the next Switch is going to be powerful enough to run COD. And that'll be dope if we see Gears of War, Forza, and all of other Halo, all of Microsoft or the first party titles on Nintendo Switch with Game Pass. But we'll see how it all works out, man. But excuse me, guys. But yeah, man. And I think the Switch 2 should be 4K around this time. If anything, 1440p upscale 4K with DLSS. They mentioned that several years ago. That's what they were gonna do. So don't quote me on it. It's just common sense and logic that the next Switch should be 4K. And that's all I'm gonna say, guys. Leave your comments in the section, like I said before. What do you think about the Nintendo Switch's first initial launch back in March 2017? And on your way to pick it up, I mean, how do you feel going to the store, picking a Nintendo Switch up, knowing that you're going for a new, awesome idea, hybrid console that Nintendo came up with? And what's your thoughts on the Switch 2? What improvements do you think Nintendo should make with the Switch 2? And most important too, a lot of people have been talking about backwards compatibility. That's a no-brainer as well. Nintendo will be carrying over its 122 million player base, and they are going to have backwards compatibility. Digital, I don't know about physical, probably. They're probably going to stick with cartridges. But definitely it's going to be backwards compatible. And if it's not, man, just play your old Switch. Just keep it. I still got my old Switch. I'm not going to get rid of them. But yeah, it's going to have backwards compatibility. I know 4K is going to be there too. Upscale 4K, whatever. Hold on, guys. Not so fast. How silly of me. I forgot. I've been seeing everybody doing this. Since it is the Nintendo Switch's anniversary today, everybody has been doing their top 5 favorite games. Or top 10, whatever. Their top games, period, for the Nintendo Switch. Now, for me, that's actually kind of hard. I have over 500 plus digital games. And I have 260 games for my Nintendo Switch. So that's a combination of 760 plus games, right? That's a lot of games. That just goes to show you how much I love the Switch. The Switch has a phenomenal, dope library of games. And so it's kind of hard for me to really pick what are my favorite games. So what I'm gonna do is, this was really, really, really hard. And this is gonna be an unorthodox list. And some of the games I'm gonna select, which are my favorite, or more so the games that are important to me when I first got my Switch. Because I think that's the most important aspect of a Nintendo Switch. When I first got it, was a library of games, because in the time frame when it first released, those games were kind of important to me, had an impact on me, what I was going through at the time. So I'm gonna start with my top 4, or should I say top 5. First, Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden is one of my favorite games of all time. Preferably Ninja Gaiden Sigma. Actually the first Ninja Gaiden, but I'm just going to say the Ninja Gaiden collection. So I'm going to have that at number 5. Number 4, Blaster Master Zero. The Blaster Master series, period, which consists of 0, 1, 2, and 3. But more so the first one, even though all 3 games are great. Number 3, Arm Setsuna. Told y'all. That game is very important. That game launched with the Switch, and it was great. Number 2, Fast RMX. A lot of people can relate to that game. I dare one person to say they don't like Fast RMX. Fast RMX held it down for the Nintendo Switch on launch day, and I started off on Fast RMX. I had to go back and play the other Fast RMX games, or should I say game. Number one, you guys already know what number one is. Of course, Breath of the Wild. That's the reason and the only reason why I got a Nintendo Switch. So my favorite game for the Nintendo Switch is Breath of the Wild. That's number one to me. Now, other honorable mentions, Resident Evil 4, Gear Club 2. Yes, I like Gear Club 2. Hyper Light Drifter. That's another great game. That was a late port to the Nintendo Switch. Initially was on the Xbox and the PlayStation 4. Witcher 3 on the Switch was good. And I know y'all, I can see y'all in the comment sections right now. Oh, Witcher 3 port on Switch was not. Witcher 3 port on Switch, it looked good and it ran good. Especially in handheld, more so on handheld. Of course, Metroid Dread. That actually should have been in my top 5. Salt and Sanctuary, which was originally a PS3 game and a PS Vita game. And I played it on there first, but it came out in a physical version for the Nintendo Switch. Had to get that. So the top 5 games are more so the games I really played a lot on my Nintendo Switch. So that's why I had to select those games. So let me should I run it back again, or you guys got it? I think you guys got it. I'll just put it up on the screen, my favorite games again, and that's all I had to say. Let me know what you guys favorite. What's your guys' favorite? I'm gonna say top 5. Your top 5 favorite games for the Nintendo Switch. And for me, that was really a hard list because the Switch has so many great games. It has a vast library, so it's kind of hard to select my favorite games. But those games that I put up on the screen are games that I had to struggle with to put up on the screen. I had to really think about that because the Switch library is just so great. I just don't have a favorite game, my favorite top 5. I have a favorite number 1 game. My favorite number 1 game is Breath of the Wild, man. Like, come on, man. Nothing beats Breath of the Wild. That's my number 1. Every other game doesn't really matter to me. Zelda is number 1 for me. That's what did it for me. That's why I got the Switch. But yeah, those are my top games for the Nintendo Switch. And there are other games that are great for it as well, but that's what I'm giving y'all. That's my top favorite games for the Nintendo Switch. Let me guys know, excuse me guys, let me know in the comment section what your top favorite games are for the Nintendo Switch. Red Crimson 102, like and subscribe.